Bine ați venit! Today, welcome to Living in Romania. And I've got some more comments on differences between the UK and Romania. I hope I haven't mentioned too many of these before. The first is the extraordinary number of ladies who dye their hair in quite extraordinary colours when they get to a certain age. You'll see purple and mauve and red, and I guess this is fashion in Romania for these lovely ladies. Also, if ladies are married, especially in the country, they tend to wear a scarf covering their hair. I guess this is something to do with religion. Some are quite heavy scarves, especially in the north, in Moldova. They would wear something like a scarf to cover their hair. I think it's to prove that they're married. If you're married, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here with any of my comments, but I think if you're married, you wear a scarf to cover your hair. Cities seem to be numbered. They like numbers in Romania. So you live in Sector 1 or Sector 2, or our post offices. Where I live in Rovine, Craiova, and our Oficiul Postal is number 2. I know where number 1 is. I've seen number 7. If you're a police officer, we met a police officer on holiday. She worked in Sector 5. Bucharest is divided into 6 sectors, and that's unusual because it's small. When you consider that Paris has 20 arrondissements, 20 sectors. London has, I don't know, many boroughs. But Bucharest, which is a big city, 1.5 million inhabitants, only has 6 sectors. They like numbers, as they do, and I've mentioned this earlier, so I won't go into that further. Schools used to be numbered. So if you went to school 11, which is near me, or you went to school 29, which is where my stepdaughter went, you know where you are. Queues. The British think they are the world champions at queuing. Well, Romanians are pretty good at queuing because they have a lot of experience of queuing. When we go occasionally to the supermarket at the weekend and there's an offer on meat, then you're going to find a queue. But you find queues for everything. Romanians are no strangers to queues, and they're very good at queuing, and they have sharp elbows, so you better be good at queuing yourself if you want to get the offers from a supermarket on a given day. I could call it hypochondria. That may be unfair. I thought that Romanians went to the doctor all the time. No, they don't. They go to the doctor when they're ill, and otherwise they talk to friends. And I think in Romanian we say după urechea. They go according to what they hear about certain treatments, which medicines are most effective or not, and then they go to the doctor when they're ill. I think the mortality, age of mortality in Romania is quite low compared with the rest of Europe. I suspect this is due to their diet, but I don't know. But Romanians, cancer and heart disease are the main causes of death here, as they are in most of Western Europe. But whereas you would have a life expectancy of 80 to 81 in the UK, it's far below that here in Romania. And this is probably because we have a system in the UK of preventative medicine. So you get checked every year, and if you're ill or you have symptoms of some disease, you're checked out. That doesn't really exist here. So you wait until you get ill and then you're treated. So it's the difference between preventative medicine and medicine after the effect, after you've actually got ill. A friend of mine is in a wheelchair and is a teacher in Romania, and she struggles to get onto trains. And I've mentioned this in a previous video, that if you're infirm or elderly or you're in a wheelchair, Romanian trains are a long way off the platform. You've got to go up a good foot or two, and there are no means of getting you on unless someone is prepared to help you, to lift you on. So that is absolutely appalling, and Romania needs to do something about facilities for the handicapped, for the ill, for the elderly, because it is extremely difficult for them. My wife alerted me to musical differences. She was listening to the radio the other evening, and it was folkloric music, and I said, "Oh, is that from Oltenia, where we are?" She said, No, it's from Banat. Can't you hear the difference? I said, "No, I can't. I don't have that facility." And between Moldova, Ardeal, and Banat and Oltenia, there are significant differences, not only in language, but in music, in the style of the music. So the regional differences are extraordinary. And regional differences continue with food. The belief that Romanians have that their food is some of the best in the world is commendable. It may not be true, but it's commendable. For example, here in Oltenia, I say Oltenia, in Dolj, we wouldn't eat black pudding. I love black pudding, but we wouldn't eat it. We would eat other types of sausage, but not sausage with blood. This is a Transylvanian. It comes from Germany, effectively, which is where it came in. So there are regional differences between the foods, which you have, I think, in many countries, certainly in the UK as well. There seems to be an obsession with preparing for death with cemeteries, and I didn't understand this when I arrived here. Now I kind of get it, because they don't have refrigerated morgues. So the burial will typically take place within 3 days. In the UK, it could take up to 2 weeks. So the body is kept at the morgue or the funeral parlour for up to 3 weeks. And you prepare for your burial in advance. There's a certain degree of social status involved. If you have a decent plot in a cemetery which is laid with concrete and marble, and you prepare even your headstone before you die, you see this a lot when you go around cemeteries. I'm not saying I go around cemeteries a lot. I've been to a couple of cemeteries in Craiova, but you find that the headstone may have one photo up with the date of the person who's died, but her partner hasn't yet died, and it's left empty. So they prepare for death. They think about death because you've only got 3 days. Once you die, you have to be buried very, very quickly. A sign of modernity certainly in Craiova, is that our ticket kiosks are closing down, where you could buy tickets for buses or trams. And this is because you can buy them on the tram or on the bus automatically by using a credit card or a debit card or your phone. So they are modernizing. It's certainly happening. The other point is that they cook for a long time. Romanians have very healthy appetites, as I've mentioned previously, and they cook for a week. Maybe not for a week, maybe for half a week, and everything is prepared ab initio from the start. So they go to the market and buy vegetables, buy meat, and prepare everything. Pre-prepared food is not really an option here. It is available in supermarkets, but it isn't seen as being the norm. The norm is to cook a lot of food, to put it in the fridge or the freezer, and then to eat it throughout the rest of the week. Now, I asked my wife what found different about houses or life in the UK as opposed to Romania, and she said, well, we have carpets we normally live in houses rather than apartments. That's the first difference. We have carpets in the bathroom, and we do. There are carpets in the bathroom and on the stairs. That doesn't really exist here, carpets. No, we don't have them. I think it's to keep the warmth, actually, in the UK, I suspect, because it's a colder country in general. I've talked about there being no pre-prepared food. I think most people eat pre-prepared food, pre-cooked food in the UK. We don't have, they're coming in now, but we don't have mixer taps. So when you turn a tap on, one will be hot, one will be cold, and you choose which you want. So if you're having a bath or you're running a shower, you'll have 2 taps, hot and cold. You don't tend to find women in what I can call pubs or bars on their own in Romania, whereas you do in England. Women have been going to bars, pubs for years, and they still do. Similarly with dogs, you'll find dogs in pubs in the UK and in shops. They will go into shops, whereas here it would be unhygienic and you tie a dog up outside before you go. And I think the final point would be the preventative system we have for health, which I've talked about, screening for certain diseases on a regular basis, and dentistry checkups every 6 months in the UK. However, because our health system is breaking down, there is very little access to a GP, to a general practitioner, or a family doctor, as we would say in Romania. You can ring up and you'll be lucky to get an appointment within 2 or 3 weeks. Whereas here in Romania, you can ring up and see a doctor. Well, you don't ring up, you turn up if you don't have an appointment, and you can see your family doctor that very same day, and you can get to see a consultant very quickly indeed. So I think if I were very ill, I would feel more confident being in Romania because I could get to see a doctor and resolve any problems I had that very day. Just a few differences I've noticed, and my wife has noticed, between the UK and Romania, and each country has their strengths and their weaknesses. But I hope you've found those interesting, and if you disagree or agree, let me know. Let me know below. Thank you very much indeed for watching.